Hello guys, Jensen here. Today I'll be reading some r/entitled parents. Don't you just hate entitled mother who just dump their kids on you unannounced and then yells at you for not doing your job? I'm sure this person does. You should have taken my daughter's chocolate. I'm not exactly sure this belongs in this sub, but I was told you guys may enjoy my experience here. Details are a bit fuzzy as this was almost 7 years ago. Intro, I was around 19 at the time, and I worked in a small local chocolate shop. We were popular for our chocolate making parties. These parties came in two styles, adult or kids. Adult parties came with the ability to create whatever you wanted with milk, white, and dark chocolate. It included using any fillings, toppings, ganache bags, etc. that you wanted. This was a more on your own kind of party, where we would give you a rundown on how to use the molds and make things, then let people have fun. We would refill things as needed and be there to help. Adult parties paid by the weight of chocolate they make and would take home. Now, the above kind of party would be insane for small children to do alone, so the kids' party was much more controlled. Each child got a molded pizza slice in milk chocolate and got to decorate with white and red colored white chocolate. They also got a minimal choice of toppings, popular stuff with kids like M&Ms and gummy worms, etc. After that, they got to dip things like Rice Krispie or marshmallows in whatever kind of chocolate they like. Finally, they get to pick something to enrobe in chocolate. And this is where they felt like they were in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Our milk chocolate mixer had a conveyor belt with a small water fountain of milk chocolate. You put something on the belt and it would get completely covered in delicious, melted milk chocolate. These parties were at a fixed price. Since they had very controlled things they got to make, the kids' party was very inexpensive, around $10, which parents love for parties. Finally, the story. I get a call in the middle of the day from a lady, later our entitled mother, EM, about our chocolate making parties. I give her the rundown on the options, and she opts for an adult party and wants to do it with her friends and kids. I say great, as this isn't a problem. Plenty of families would do the adult option with their kids and help them with more advanced chocolate making process. I book them at our $50 per person price, which includes a half pound of chocolate for each person. I explain anything over that would be charged extra based on weight. The entitled mother says great, and all is well. Huh. A few hours later, entitled mom comes in with 2 other women and 5 kids in tow, ranging from 8 to 14 years old. The entitled mom's child was the youngest one and was very excited upon seeing all the chocolate goodies. I talked with the moms for a few, and they all seem hype about the party. My co-worker, a high school kid, and I go to the back of the store and sit up for the party. The kids come running back and get into their seats. I look up and the moms are nowhere to be found. I start to panic a little as I have told them that they would need to be making chocolates with their kids, and the entitled mom agreed that's what she would be doing. We already had the chocolate out, and she had been adamant on the phone she wanted this party, and not the kids' version. We asked the kids where their mom went and most just shrugged, and one said, "I think the movies." So we took a deep breath and did our thing. The kids were antsy and hardly paying attention, trying to dip their fingers in the chocolate on their table and talking. My coworker and I went slowly and tried to be patient. As soon as we told them they could start making chocolate, they went wild. They were eating toppings and the chocolate they were making, and we had to keep getting onto them to stop. After a while, I knew they were getting very close to their half-pound cutoff, so I let them know to slow down a little. I clearly didn't understand kids because that meant absolutely nothing. By the time they all had definitely gone over the weight limit, we got the idea to put away all the chocolate making stuff to stop them. They of course got upset, but I knew their parents weren't about to pay for 10 pounds of chocolate. It had been almost 2 hours at this point and the mom still hasn't come back. So we were trying to figure out what to do. I had never been around kids and didn't have the slightest idea on how to entertain them. When my coworker got them into a big game of duck duck goose, this stopped them from running around, trying to get into all the chocolates and stuff, and I am so thankful she had this great idea. I manned the counter for regular customers and occasionally played around with the kids. They got bored, so we switched to some other similar game. My coworker volunteered as a camp counselor, I think, so she was good with kids. After about 45 minutes, the moms come back into the shop, just having a good old time. I am a bit upset that we were just used as cheap babysitting after being lied to about them staying, but I tried to just let it go. We weighed the chocolate and the 2 other moms paid for all the overage, no problem. The entitled mom, who set up this entire event, was absolutely livid that she needed to pay more than $15 for a half pound. I want to say her kid had ended up making like 3 pounds or something. She starts arguing with me how her child is only 8 and we should have taken the chocolate away from her. I explained that this type of party was not for children and she was supposed to stay. She brushed me off about having important things to do and just goes back to refusing to pay for more than half a pound. I call the owner, who tells me that if she won't pay, take out some of the chocolate until there's only half a pound left. The entitled mom rolls her eyes, decides this is fine, and has her daughter pick and choose what she wanted to keep, all while making it like we are bad for not giving her a bunch of free chocolates. Honestly, it broke my heart a little to watch this 8-year-old's face mope as I continued to remove more and more of her chocolate creations. Finally, it was just over the limit, but I let it slide, and the kid now had only about 3 things left in the box. The mother angrily shoves the $15 at me and makes a show out of not tipping us, the whole time still muttering about how it's our fault she made so much chocolate and blah blah blah. Well, while the entitled mom berated me, she stopped paying attention to her kid, and this 8-year-old had run around behind the counter and dunked her entire arms into the vat of melted milk chocolate, which was used for all of her confections. I turned around just as she was pulling her arms out and licking them. I was horrified, and I ran over just as she dunked them back in and pulled up a handful of chocolate to drink. The entitled mom just kinda laughed it off and did a whole, "Oh, she's just a child," as I pulled her from our machine, which had a big slow spinning scraper mixer that she could have gotten her fingers caught in. I was thankful that the chocolate wasn't hot enough to burn her. There was now chocolate all over the floor and this child. The entitled mom had the audacity to act like it was my fault for having the chocolate accessible, in a machine behind the counter. Entitled mom ends up acting like it's not a big deal as she lets her kid lick herself off for the most part. My coworker and I were pretty upset but didn't know what to say or do. I believe we told her that all that chocolate would now have been thrown out due to contamination. Entitled mom just shrugged and said she's 8, kind of like this is totally okay behavior and has nothing to do with her being a shitty parent. Entitled mom finally grabs her kid and leaves, her friends following behind and seeming very embarrassed for what happened. The machine ended up having to be broken down and completely sanitized, which put it out of commission for a couple days, as it was a big job. Several pounds of chocolate had been tossed, and it was just a huge waste and headache. I was young and inexperienced back then, and I really should have changed it to a kid's party when I saw the adults leave. And I definitely should have told the entitled mom off for lying and leaving her kids with us for a nondescript amount of time. But experience is one of those things you gain only after you need it. Sorry this was long, but I hope you enjoy. Entitled grandmother doesn't like it when special treatment is denied. Is it just me, or does the whole respect your elder thing basically give old people the ability to be assholes to kids and get off scotch-free with it? I see it a lot in younger adults too. They talk shit to kids and teens, and then instantly play victim whenever the kids talk back because I'm an adult, so I automatically deserve your respect. It's a bullshit sentiment that should never have existed in the first place. The only adults I think you owe respect to are non-abusive parents and adult family members. Also, your boss or assistant manager. Can't go pissing them off. Everyone else though, I don't see why you should be expected to bow down and kiss their feet. I don't know you, and I'll talk to you however I damn well please regardless of your age. Anyways, I'm rambling, onto the story. I will agree with that though, OP. Cast, me, male, F1 first friend, female, F2 second friend, male, F3 third friend, male, e.g. entitled grandmother, EF entitled father, EM entitled mother, M manager. The following story took place at a local diner in our town. Me and my 3 close friends decided that since it was a Friday, we could all have dinner there and maybe go see a movie. I asked the lady at the front desk if they could sit us at the bar, to which she said yes, last for a seat there. Perfect. The place is packed, so it's very noisy. After ordering drinks, friend 1 receives a hard tap on her shoulder from behind. It's the entitled family. More specifically, the grandma giving my friend a very stern look, like she's expecting something. Friend 1 politely asks if she could help her, and the old croon demands that my friend gives up her seat because I'm old. My friend says no, and the lady calls her a selfish little shit. Friend 1 shrugs her shoulder and goes back to talking with us. Then it starts. Entitled grandmother and her family, entitled father and entitled mother, starts to intentionally talk behind our backs loud enough for us to hear. They had kids with them, but they weren't doing anything wrong. I don't know why they were so salty over us not giving up our seats because they wouldn't be able to seat their whole family at the bar anyway. To us, this is a pretty normal occurrence. We deal with this kind of adults all the time because we live in a pretty well-off area. However, these people happen to recognize me and my friends. They know our parents and start snickering about how they must be disappointed with how their children turned out. That pissed me off. These assholes know full well we can hear them. Friend 1 starts getting angry, but I tell him to just ignore it. So we do. We go on our phone and pretend to be oblivious to what's being said. The grandma bleats out, "You know, when I was young, we had this really cool thing called social interaction. Bet none of you shits know what that is." Entitled father and entitled mother crackle along like it's the funniest thing they've ever heard. Right after that, friend 2 whips around and says word for word, "Yeah, well nowadays we have this really cool thing called fentanyl. Let's see if you can tell the difference between that and your fucking diet pills tonight, you greasy whore." I couldn't contain it. I burst out laughing and so did my friends. The entitled mother had this horrific look on her face while entitled grandmother goes into a tirade of, "How dare you, I'm a senior citizen, blah blah blah." The entitled father leaps up from his seat and gets in friend 2's face, demanding for him to apologize. Friend 3 says, "You can dish out insults towards children for an hour, but the second they say something in return, you throw a tantrum. That's really pathetic, man." Entitled father turns to him and says, "Fuck you, kid," loud enough for everyone in the diner to hear. Entitled grandmother tried to slap friend 2 across the face, but being a wrinkly old hag, she missed completely. The manager comes storming out after hearing all the commotion, and the family tries to spin a bullshit story about how we were extremely rude to them. The person at the bar who was serving everyone called the family out on their lie and said she heard every little insult they hurled at us before friend 2 said anything. Entitled father starts screaming about how my friend threatened his mother with poisoning. But manager tells them to get the fuck out. Not exaggerating on the last one either. He legit said, "Get the fuck out of my restaurant." My sides were hurting from laughing the rest of that night. I don't think I've ever heard such an amazing assault, especially not from my friend who's usually quiet. Anyways, I hope you guys have a nice rest of the day. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you guys tomorrow with more reads. See ya.